exponential. So there's a huge difference between a 6 and a 7, and between what they just had was a 6 in San Francisco. You're talking about a 9. What is that? 1,000 times? Is that?
That's about right. Yeah, yeah.
Man, that's amazing.
That would jar your teeth a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you're talking about some activity in the Atlantic. Now, there was also an article that I was reading from last Thursday. Michael Snyder was talking about the New Madrid fault that runs through central United States, through Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, Arkansas, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Mississippi, he says. What do you know about that?
Oh, a fair amount, actually. On our website there, under the Show Images page, and your producer, we talked about this earlier, you can link into that and look at a number of maps and images. I've got even some stereo 3D things related to the New Madrid fault. It is a peculiar kind of fault system. It's like little rectangular honeycombs underneath there. It is a failed attempt to form a ridge like occurred in the middle of the Atlantic. And as such, it had dynamic pressures from several sides. And so it's a very kind of unpredictable type of fault. We know that every 175 to 180 years we get a major release there. And certainly we're seeing signs at this time. Not only will it release in the southern Missouri, Tennessee area, it will probably release in a fault connecting through Arkansas all the way over to Oklahoma City.
Wow!
And this is still up for conjecture, but on our website, on the Show Images page, where I talk about these kind of things, I do have a map showing the safe zone, if you wish, of earthquakes that will occur in Canada and the United States all the way down to Central America. Now, it's called the Central Stable Region, a shield. And there's a black line. If you go down, let's see. Let me tell you where it is. It's on the Show Images page down, 5th row down on the right, and it's a black and white image.
And again, your website is standeyo.com. That's standeyo.com, where people can see these images and see what you've mapped out here.
And that's right. They just click the button next to the microphone that says Show Images and go down the 5th row and on the right. Now, this tells us it's a very rare piece of graphic data I got on this, but where there's a black line that comes down between the west coast of the United States and goes on the other side of the Rockies and down into central Texas, down around where you are, and around and up into Tennessee to the bottom of the New Madrid fault line, then all the way up into the Appalachians and out. Now, that black line, outside of that black line toward the oceans everywhere, is where we have instabilities in the Earth's crust should a major earthquake series start. The Colorado Plateau is exempt from that. It's also within a little shielded area. But other than that, on that map, you will see that, Mexico, Arizona, California, Washington, Idaho, Oregon, Florida, Louisiana, Mississippi, all along the East Coast and the South Coast and the West Coast are at risk for major earthquake activity should that start soon. On that same page, you can see historically where earthquakes are occurring across the United States. And where fracking has been occurring. I've got quite a detailed set of data on the New Madrid thing as well. Its own site there.
Now, you just mentioned fracking. We've had a lot of earthquakes where people are in Texas. There's been a rapid increase in earthquakes that believe is due to fracking. Do you share that belief?
Well, if you look at the fracking map I've got, we see all the little green dots on it there. That's to the left of that one we were just looking at. And it shows a huge concentration of them in the southeast portion of Texas, from the toe of Texas all the way across up into Louisiana and part of Mississippi.
So there's a high correlation to where they're fracking and where these rapid earthquakes are happening. Is that correct?
That's right. That's right. Excuse me. Let me put that off.
Go ahead and get that.
Yeah.
And
all right.
And also, when we were talking about this earlier, we were talking about the fact that the U.S. Geological Service could see the effects of drought from their satellites across the western United States. So we'll be right back. We're going to continue talking about what's going on with this. And we're also going to talk about what you can do to prepare. We want to give you more than a 10-second warning to prepare like the people in California did. Of course, they expected it to come. But there are other places other than California, United States, that are susceptible to earthquakes.
From the water table to our soils to the atmosphere itself, our world is becoming more and more toxic each and every day. But it's not just the air outside that's toxic. Indoor air has been shown to have 2 to 5 times higher concentrations of pollutants than even outdoor air. And most Americans spend 90% of their time inside using toxic chemicals within their homes. There are more than 42 million smokers in the United States. Well over 1,000 types of mold and mildew linked to numerous conditions. And don't forget the fact that 6 million Americans live with pets they're allergic to as well. When I began to research these statistics, it was clear to me it was time to start cleansing my lungs in order to combat the toxic environment that we cannot escape, but that we can fight back against. Made with organic and wild cultivated herbs and manufactured in the USA, the new InfoWars Life Lung Cleanse is here in a convenient spray bottle that can be brought with you throughout any toxic environment. Now available exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com. or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139.
American gardeners and fellow patriots, make the right choice with your money, time, and your family food supply. Choose 100% pure heirloom seeds in the Survival Seed Vault from MyPatriotSupply.com. Why spend more? The Survival Seed Vault from MyPatriotSupply.com is only $37.95 and includes 20 varieties of pure, hardy, easy-to-grow heirloom seeds. Yes, only $37.95. That's 70% less than our competitors. You could buy 3 Survival Seed Vaults for less than one of theirs. The Survival Seed Vault from MyPatriotSupply.com includes detailed planting and seed-saving instructions and ships same day. Plus, all orders over $49 ship free. MyPatriotSupply.com is American-owned by patriots like you, passionate about freedom and preparedness. Call now, 866-229-0927. That's 866-229-0927. Or discover more emergency preparedness items when you order at MyPatriotSupply.com. Choose the original. Choose the Survival Seed Vault at MyPatriotSupply.com.
This is an announcement for all people who want to take a risk-free challenge to whiten their teeth in 5 minutes. By calling now, you can whiten your teeth in 5 minutes using clinically proven power swabs. This risk-free challenge is for people whose smile has been yellowed by coffee, tea, red wine, or smoking. The Power Swabs 5-minute challenge is available by responding to this advertisement. If lines are busy, try again. Because the Power Swabs 5-minute challenge is exclusive, it's not available in drugstores. Power Swabs was formulated by Dr. Martin Ginniger and whitens teeth with a patented tooth detergent and whitening agent. It's so effective, we challenge you to try it for 5 minutes to see how white your smile could be. Get it risk-free. Dial 1-800-281-6805. That's 1-800-281-6805. Transform your smile into a wow, you look great smile. Dial 1-800-281-6805. That's 1-800-281-6805.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, listen carefully. Sweeping changes to IRS policies will help more people than ever eliminate their tax debts once and for all. And now, thanks to Dan Pilla, you can get the tax help you need to end your tax nightmare.
Hi, I'm Dan Pilla. I've helped thousands of people reduce or eliminate tax debts they couldn't pay. And after more than 30 years of experience dealing with the IRS, I can tell you there's no such thing as a hopeless tax case. With the IRS's new policies, it's easier than ever to put your tax debt behind you once and for all. Call now at 800-346-6829 to learn how I can help you. You know your IRS debt will not go away by itself, but you don't have to live in fear anymore. Call 800-346-6829. Learn how I can help you eliminate wage and bank levies, release tax liens, and negotiate a settlement with the IRS that will put your tax nightmare behind you forever. Call 800-34-NO-TAX or go to my website, taxhelponline.com. That's taxhelponline.com.
He's the T-Rex of political talk. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight, and I'm talking to Stan Deyo of standeyo.com. That's STANDEYO.com. I mentioned that because you can go to his website, and as we've been talking here about his website and showing it for the people who are watching this, you can see some very detailed graphical data showing where these fault lines are. many people think this is something that really only affects California or San Francisco in the United States, or maybe it affects Pacific Islands where if they have a earthquake off the coast, they have to worry about tsunamis coming in. We have all those problems here as well, and there are some faults within the United States that maybe you're not aware of that are long overdue for some kind of activity. But just before we went to a commercial break, Stan had brought up fracking, and I want to go over that a little bit more with him because he's got a chart on his site that shows a pretty high correlation between fracking activity and earthquakes in Oklahoma, Texas, other places. We know that there's been a massive amount of water lost in the western United States due to drought. As a matter of fact, it's so much that it's the equivalent to about 4 inches of water covering the entire western half of the United States that is basically missing now due to this drought of epic proportions. They determined that by looking at the ground sinking because it doesn't have the changes in the height of the ground because actually rising because the lack of presence of the water, which would normally take it down. So they were able to measure a 4 millimeter difference in the height of the ground and basically extrapolate from that the amount of water that was missing. Stan, let's talk about the correlation between changes in groundwater level. It's not just the plates that are building up tension, but it's also things that might be naturally occurring or things that we are doing that are man-made that are changing the groundwater and affecting earthquakes.
Well, certainly, depending upon the formation underneath, say, California, where the water has been stored, it takes maybe 100 years to recharge some of those aquifers down there. And if you use it up quickly with agriculture, like in the San Joaquin Valley, you might find that that the emptiness doesn't go away real quickly. It doesn't fill up again. And this makes a mechanical instability with the weight of water that's normally above it, and with human activity there. Down in Lake Taupo in the North Island of New Zealand is another situation where water level in a lake is very important because it holds down the lid on a huge caldera as big as Yellowstone. And right now, of course, the water is warm and there's steam coming up on the shore occasionally. If that one goes, it will be probably because the weight of the water has been reduced. They've been using geothermal sources, and with the drought hitting all over the world, all these areas are subject to danger. In California, particularly, I think that what's going to happen there is that because the underground water storage is not like a flat level thing, it has like waves in it underneath in the sedimentary formations that have been kind of squeezed together. We might see the evidence of California separating into small islands as this progresses over the years. It could happen suddenly, but it may also happen over a period of a decade or two if we don't get rain in there to recharge. And as I said, it takes about 100 years to recharge the main aquifers. So it's a situation that's not going to go away. It's not good.
That's very interesting. Now, you were also talking about fracking, and I had read in the break just before you came on from Michael Snyder's article where he's talking about these holes that were opening up on Mount Baldy, which is near the New Madrid fault. Do you think that's something that they don't really know what's going on there? There's speculation about that. Do you think that's related somehow to changes in water levels, or do you think that's something to do with plates?
It's to do, I think, primarily with the same phenomenon that's causing a lot of the sinkholes all around the world, not just in the United States. There was a down near, I guess, Sonora in Mexico, just part of the Baja. There was a 12-mile-long fissure that opened up all of a sudden. It's not deep, but it cracked, for 12 miles. Now, that's very close to, it's just south of the Salton Sea area in Southern California, which is a very thin part of the plate. Now,
hang on, we got to go to break, Stan. We want to get that information right after we come back from break. We'll continue on with that. This is the Alex Jones Show, and we're talking to Stan Deyo someone who is an expert on earthquake forecasting, and you can see more information if you go to his site, standeo.com. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
We're on the mark.